morning, I knew this layout was going to be spectacular. Take a look for yourself.
Well, back in the start of lockdown, I decided to make an exhibition layout. I had got a loft layout, and I thought, no, let's try an exhibition layout. And I'm into 3D printing, so I decided, let's see if I can 3D print everything for the layout, which near enough I done. I bought a box of FlexiTrack, 3D printed the wagons, the points, the people, everything else is 3D printed. Covered it with air dry clay, and this is what appeared.
How many bits and bobs and pieces have you had to print?
Lots. I don't keep track on how many, but there's hundreds of people on here which are all bespoke because I design them in a program called Make Human, and I pose them to the pose I need in Blender, and then I print them off and paint them. So it's quite an easy job once you get the poses, and you can just print as many as you like then.
Looking at EssexBrick, it's so different. The buildings, the details. Did you have an artistic background? Did you know you had this part of you that was this creative?
Artistic is not what I call myself. I was in the army, then I was a driver, courier, retired at 50, and no, I just thought, I normally can put my hand to those things, and I thought, oh, let's have a go at this. And it is basic painting. It looks all right, but it's just basic painting, a few basic colours and a bit of weathering, and that's how I get the effect. And I've kept the overall effect, so then nothing really stands out. It all blends in, hopefully.
You've been very modest there. It's as easy as that. I mean, I think a lot of people will look at that and just be in awe. It is incredible, and I had lots of people tell me today, yesterday and today, that it's a really wonderful layout. So, which bit did you start with? How did you start this project?
Well, my first ever big foray into 3D printing was the back scene, believe it or not, and that was done on an FDM printer, which is like a plastic extrusion printer that I bought off eBay. It was cheap as chips. It was terrible, but it got me into 3D printing and then into design. And if you can 3D print with an old rubbish machine, when you get a nice new one and it works better, it's a breeze. All the smaller pieces I've done in resin printing, which are liquid resin, it's cured, and that's where you get the detail. So it's a learning curve. I learned how to do CAD and all this sort of stuff. That was it.
Why this particular scene?
I was brought up in the East End of London. Back in the day, there was docks. There was all the workers were milling about, and I remember the docks being dirty and nothing was pristine. It was all run down for the war. There was lots of men though, all dressed the same. So if you look at my figures, they're pretty much all wearing flat caps, which was the dress of the day, and mute clothing. There's no bright reds or bright greens on there. Everything is mute.
For anyone looking at this who hasn't tried 3D printing, who hasn't tried some of the techniques that you're talking about, what would your advice be to them? They may be feeling a bit overwhelmed. What would you say to them?
Start basic, but the biggest thing is learn a CAD program if you can. There's some lots of online ones. Tinkercad is a good one, which is a basic starter. Learn how to 3D design. So once you know how to design, the 3D printing, I would say, is 10%. The design is 90%. So if you can design, then you can print.